Something is seriously wrong in San Francisco. Just 1 week ago, the 49ers looked unstoppable, and now, it feels like the entire team has fallen apart. Fans are frustrated, players look lost, and questions are flying everywhere. What went wrong? Let's break it all down. Before we dive into the latest news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and don't forget to press the bell icon, so you never miss any updates. Alright, let's move on to the big story. Yesterday's game was a nightmare. The San Francisco 49ers weren't just beaten, they were completely outplayed and outmuscled by the Houston Texans. It was ugly, plain and simple. The biggest problem? No pass rush. After Nick Bosa's season-ending injury, the defensive pressure has completely disappeared. And in the NFL, you simply can't win if your defense gives quarterbacks all the time in the world. When a QB can drop back, read the field, and throw without fear of getting hit, it doesn't matter who it is, they'll tear your defense apart. The stats tell the story, just 10 pressures and 0 sacks the entire game. That's not 49ers football. Yes, the team is dealing with injuries, but that can't be an excuse. Players like Mike Williams, you were drafted to step up in moments like this. And here's the real problem. Trying to fix the pass rush with constant blitzes is leaving the secondary exposed. It's a risky strategy that's just not working. Something has to change, and fast, because if this continues, the season could start slipping away before anyone realizes it. So stay with me, because we're just getting started, and there's a lot more to uncover about what's really happening in San Francisco. It was painful to watch. The 49ers defense looked completely helpless, not because the players in the secondary suddenly forgot how to play, but because they got zero help from the front line. When your defensive line can't create pressure, your corners and safeties are left on an island. And yesterday, that island turned into a disaster zone. C.J. Stroud had all the time in the world, 3 to 4 yards of space between him and the nearest defender, just standing tall in the pocket, untouched, calm, and confident. He even ran the ball a few times, and he's not even known for his legs. Imagine being a safety like Jair Brown or Malik Mustafa, chasing wide receivers for 7 to 10 seconds with no pass rush to help you. That's not football, that's survival mode. And then came the stat that tells the whole story: time of possession. Houston had the ball for over 41 minutes. Let that sink in. In a 60-minute game, the Texans owned the clock, while the 49ers barely touched it. Every long, grinding drive from Houston slowly broke the defense down. Here's what those drives looked like: 16 plays for 9 minutes, 10 plays for almost 6 minutes, 12 plays for 7 minutes. Over and over again. The Texans didn't just score, they controlled the entire game. By the end, the defense was gassed, the offense was cold, and the entire team looked out of rhythm. And the harsh truth? You can't win in the NFL like that. The golden rule is simple: find your quarterback, protect him, and pressure the other teams. Right now, the 49ers are failing at all three. Their starting QB is hurt, the offensive line can't protect, and the defense can't attack. And that leads us straight into the next big problem. So stay tuned, because it only gets more concerning from here. I've been saying this for years, and here we are again. Same problem, different Sunday. It's October 27th, 2025, and somehow the 49ers still can't fix their offensive line. Honestly, it's getting hard to watch. Every time this team faces a defense with serious pass rushers, the result is the same: they get exposed. It's frustrating because this isn't a one-time issue. It's a pattern that's been holding the Niners back for seasons. Yesterday in Houston, the offensive line completely collapsed. Jones never stood a chance. He was under constant fire, pressured on 15 of his 26 passing attempts. Think about that for a second. How can any quarterback perform when he barely has time to breathe? It doesn't matter if it's Patrick Mahomes, Michael Vick, or Randall Cunningham. No one can win behind a line that leaks like this. Colton McKivitz? He got dominated, 4 pressures allowed and looked completely outmatched. Trent Williams, the veteran leader, surrendered 4 pressures and even gave up a sack. The entire unit struggled. Watching McKivitz go against Will Anderson was like watching a college kid try to stop a bulldozer. The truth is simple: the 49ers have ignored the offensive line for too long. They keep patching it up instead of rebuilding it properly. And now, it's catching up to them in the worst possible way, during the biggest games. Don't blame M. Jones for this loss. He played tough, stayed calm, and did what he could. But when your receivers drop passes and your blockers vanish, there's only so much a quarterback can do. Even John Jennings, who's supposed to be reliable, looked completely off, both in performance and attitude. If this team doesn't finally take the offensive line seriously after the season, it's not just a mistake, it's a decision that could cost jobs. Because without protection, it doesn't matter who's under center. Even when Brock Purdy returns, turf toe or not, he'll be running for his life too. Stay with me, because the deeper we go, the clearer it becomes why this team is falling apart piece by piece. You could see it right away: the 49ers' protection issues were fully exposed. And this time, there was no escaping it. When Brock Purdy is healthy, his mobility often hides how weak this offensive line really is. He moves, he extends plays, he makes the blockers look better than they are. But now, with that turf toe slowing him down, the truth is impossible to ignore. Those cracks in protection have turned into wide-open gaps. The problem isn't new, it's the result of a flawed philosophy. For years, San Francisco has focused on collecting playmakers instead of building a fortress in front of the quarterback. They'd rather draft another flashy skill player than a gritty offensive lineman. But here's the truth: if you can't protect the quarterback or open lanes for the run, your stars never even touch the ball. This is where Kyle Shanahan's confidence turns into a problem. He believes his system can survive with average linemen, that he can scheme his way around poor blocking. But against elite defenses, that strategy collapses every single time. The line gets pushed around, the quarterback gets hit, and the offense falls apart before it even starts. It's frustrating to watch because the 49ers are so close to greatness, yet they keep tripping over the same mistake. They've been patching holes instead of fixing the foundation. And now, the band-aids are gone, and the damage is clear for everyone to see. Stay with me, because the next part reveals just how deep this issue runs, and why fixing it might not be as simple as everyone thinks. Here's the truth: this loss wasn't just about players. It was about coaching. Kyle Shanahan got outcoached, plain and simple. DeMeco Ryans and the Texans walked into that game with a plan, and they executed it perfectly. The numbers say it all. Houston dominated every major stat line: time of possession, Texans, over 41 minutes. Niners, barely 18. First downs, Texans 23, Niners 12. Total yards, 475 to 223. That's not a close game, that's a beatdown. You almost have to feel for the 49ers fans who filled NRG Stadium, hoping for another statement win. They traveled, cheered, and believed, only to watch their team get picked apart in every phase of the game. And let's give credit where it's due: C.J. Stroud was outstanding. He completed 30 of 39 passes for 318 yards and 2 touchdowns, posting a 106.6 quarterback rating. And he did that without his top receiver, Nico Collins, and key off-season addition, Christian Kirk. That's impressive. When he gets time to throw, he looks every bit like a rising star. Meanwhile, the 49ers' problems run deeper than just one bad game. Yes, they're still 5-3 and technically in playoff position, but the cracks are showing. Their offensive line isn't suddenly going to improve overnight. The trade deadline won't bring a miracle. And unless someone on the defensive line steps up, opposing quarterbacks will keep having field days like this one. This wasn't about one missed tackle or one bad throw. It was a complete team failure, from coaching to execution. And unless something changes fast, the upcoming matchups against the Rams, Cardinals, and Seahawks could turn ugly too. So stay with me, because if the 49ers don't find answers soon, this season could spiral in ways no one saw coming. Right now, the 49ers are standing at a crossroads. They're 5-3, still in the playoff race, and still talented enough to make a serious run, but only if they make the right moves, and make them fast. This team desperately needs help on defense, especially in the pass rush. You can't win in the NFL if you can't pressure the quarterback, and that's exactly where San Francisco is falling short. Some might say trading for a pass rusher won't change much. But they're wrong. A single player who can collapse the pocket changes everything. It helps the corners, the safeties, and the linebackers. It changes the entire rhythm of a game. The frustrating part? The 49ers are built to win now. George Kittle, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, all in their prime, all fighting to bring another Lombardi trophy to San Francisco. This isn't the time to save draft picks for the future. This is the moment to go all in. Because the NFC is wide open, and windows like this don't stay open forever. And if they stay quiet, then they'll keep relying on miracles, winning nail-biters, pulling off late-game magic, surviving by inches instead of dominating. That's not a formula for a championship team. That's a recipe for heartbreak. Defensive coordinator Robert Saleh is doing everything he can. Blitzing more than he wants to. Taking risks he shouldn't have to take. But it's not sustainable. Against Houston, the Niners blitzed C.J. Stroud on a third of his dropbacks, and Stroud shredded them, completing 11 of 13 passes for 90 yards and a 121 rating. That's what happens when your pass rush can't win on its own. If I were Saleh, I'd walk straight into John Lynch's office and say, "I've done everything possible with what I have. But this can't continue. Get me help, or this season will slip away." Because as it stands right now, San Francisco is one move away from either saving their season, or watching it unravel completely. Stay with me, because what happens next could define the entire future of this team.